This video describes how veterinarians licensed in the state of Iowa can initially obtain and then maintain a USDA Category 2 accreditation status and was recorded in November 2020. During this video, you will get an overview of the basic requirements you must have to obtain Category 2 accreditation status in Iowa and a few of the key responsibilities. This video will explain two pathways on how to become a Category 2 accredited veterinarian. One, if you have never before been Category 2 accredited in any state, and a second, if you are Category 2 accredited in another state but not in Iowa. Then the video will explain how to renew your accreditation status every 3 years. Lastly, the video will wrap up with a brief introduction to some of the key state animal health officials and an overview of where the USDA laboratories are located in Iowa. A veterinarian must be licensed by the Iowa Board of Veterinary Medicine and in good standing to obtain and maintain a Category 2 accreditation status in Iowa. While the Veterinary Accreditation Program is administered by USDA at the national level, authorization to conduct accredited activities is still state-specific. This means a veterinarian must hold a Category 2 status in every state they wish to perform the official duties of a Category 2 veterinarian. For example, if a veterinarian is Category 2 accredited in Illinois but not Iowa and needs to perform the duties of a Category 2 veterinarian in both states, they must be authorized to conduct accredited activities in both states. Once accredited, the status must be renewed every 3 years. This video explains the process of obtaining and maintaining a Category 2 accreditation status for Iowa only. The process can vary slightly from state to state. To determine if the process in another state, contact the state's National Veterinary Accreditation Program coordinator. A list of NVAP coordinators in each state can be found on the USDA APHIS website listed. The Code of Federal Regulations, or 9 CFR 161.1G, outlines which duties can be performed by a Category 2 accredited veterinarian. Here are a few of the key duties a Category 2 veterinarian may be asked to perform in Iowa. This is not a comprehensive list, but all the duties and responsibilities will be covered in more detail the first time you meet with your district veterinarian or veterinary medical officer. To officially mark livestock with USDA recognized identification like ear tags, RFID tags, and tattoos, and complete and sign certificates to permit the domestic international movement of animals, you must hold a USDA Category 2 status in the state of Iowa. For example, if your client wants to move animals from Iowa to another state or send animals to a show during fair season, you must hold a Category 2 status to inspect the animals and sign the paperwork. In Iowa, you must also hold a Category 2 status if you assist your clients when participating in a USDA program disease, such as performing a caudal fold test as part of the tuberculosis eradication program, vaccinating heifers against brucellosis, and sending samples to a USDA laboratory for regulatory purposes. Additionally, all Category 2 veterinarians in Iowa must be able to recognize and report the signs and lesions of exotic animal diseases, such as African swine fever and foot and mouth disease, during both physical exams and necropsies. Category 2 veterinarians must also be able to develop biosecurity protocols with their clients to help control the spread of both endemic and foreign animal diseases. You can check your current accreditation status anytime at the USDA APHIS website. The URL is listed on the screen. If you are becoming accredited for the first time, you will not be in the system. But if you are accredited in any state, you can check your current status as well as the expiration date. If you are not listed as a Category 2 veterinarian in Iowa, you will need to submit an application to the state NVAP coordinator to start the accreditation process. National requirements mandate applicants must complete the initial accreditation training and then attend the National Accreditation Program Core Orientation. Both of these requirements must be completed before you can apply for accreditation in any state. The initial accreditation training is web-based and includes an introduction followed by 3 veterinary accreditation lessons, 4 emerging and exotic diseases of animals lessons, and 7 transboundary disease incursions, each ending with a multiple choice quiz requiring a score of 80% to move past each lesson and ultimately earn a certificate of completion. This certificate of completion is required for admission to the NVAP Core Orientation. Veterinary students at Iowa State University complete the initial accreditation training during part of their second year curriculum and go through the National Veterinarian Accreditation program core orientation during their third year. Once the core orientation is completed, remaining requirements must be completed within 3 years to earn an accreditation status. Veterinarians that would like to become accredited but did not complete the initial accreditation training or NVAP core orientation during veterinary school must complete both before applying for accreditation. To complete the web-based initial accreditation training, contact the Iowa NVAP coordinator, Lisa Rolling. This training must be completed before registering for the NVAP core orientation. The NVAP core orientation is offered in Iowa during an evening session during February. For information on how to register for an NVAP core orientation in Iowa, contact the Iowa NVAP coordinator, Lisa Rolling. Once the initial requirements have been fulfilled, submit a completed VS Form 1-36A to the Iowa NVAP coordinator, Lisa Rolling. You can fax or mail a hard copy to Lisa with the information provided on the screen. You can also email a signed PDF. For security, you should password protect the PDF and send the password in a separate email. Iowa-specific steps to gain accreditation require you to review the Iowa Veterinary Accreditation Handbook located on the Iowa Department of Agriculture's webpage. Make sure to review both Parts 1 and 2. Once you have reviewed the handbook, reach out to the Iowa NVAP coordinator, Lisa Rolling. Using the same contact information you used to submit your completed VS Form 1-36A. Either your regional district veterinarian or VMO will then contact you to schedule a time to review the roles and responsibilities of Category 2 veterinarians in Iowa. After you complete this session, your district vet or VMO will submit documentation to the state NVAP coordinator stating you have fulfilled this requirement. Again, while the national requirements are consistent from state to state, some additional requirements vary, and this video is only describing the process in Iowa to gain Category 2 accreditation. If you have Category 2 accreditation status in another state and wish to become authorized in Iowa, you do not need to restart the entire process described in the previous 2 slides. Instead, complete a VS Form 1-36A showing you completed at least 6 units during the previous 3 years and submit it to the Iowa NVAP coordinator. Once the Iowa NVAP coordinator processes your application, review the Iowa Veterinary Accreditation Handbook available at the webpage listed. Once you've reviewed the handbook, contact the NVAP coordinator to confirm you're ready to meet with a district veterinarian or VMO. A district veterinarian or VMO will then reach out to you to schedule a time to review the roles and responsibilities of Category 2 veterinarians in Iowa. While this video will not discuss the difference between Category 1 and 2 veterinarians, some of the duties outlined during this video cannot be performed by a Category 1 veterinarian. Additionally, Category 1 veterinarians must complete 3 units during a 3-year cycle, whereas Category 2 veterinarians must complete 6 units during a 3-year cycle. If you currently have a Category 1 accreditation status and wish to become Category 2 accredited in Iowa, complete a VS Form 1-36A showing you have completed an additional 3 units during the previous 3 years and submit it to the Iowa NVAP coordinator. Once your application is processed, review the Iowa Veterinary Accreditation Handbook available at the webpage listed and contact Lisa Rolling to inform her you are ready to meet with a district veterinarian or VMO. One will then reach out to you to schedule a session to review the roles and responsibilities of Category 2 veterinarians in Iowa. Category 2 accreditation status must be renewed every 3 years. This 3-year cycle is based on the date you first became accredited. To review your Category 2 status, you must complete 6 units during this 3-year cycle. This can be a combination of in-person sessions offered by USDA at various animal health conferences or web-based NVAP training modules. If you do not attend any in-person sessions, you can complete all 6 units with the web-based modules. As you complete sessions and modules, retain your certificates of completion to show that you have successfully earned the units. Once you have completed 6 units, complete the VS Form 1-36A and submit it to the Iowa NVAP coordinator. Remember, it is your responsibility to track your accreditation expiration date, document the units you earn, and renew your accreditation status on time. As a veterinarian in Iowa, there are 4 key animal health officials that you should be familiar with, in addition to your regional district veterinarian and veterinary medical officer. 3 at the Iowa Department of Agriculture and 1 at the USDA. The Iowa Department of Agriculture employs the state veterinarian and 2 assistant state veterinarians. The state veterinarian, Dr. Jeff Kaizen, is the head animal regulatory official in Iowa. The 2 assistant state veterinarians oversee day-to-day regulatory activities. Dr. Troy Brick oversees anything concerning livestock and poultry, and Dr. Katie Rumsey manages companion animal welfare, and horse regulations. Our local USDA office houses Dr. Kevin Petersburg, the USDA area veterinarian in charge for Iowa. Dr. Kaizen and Dr. Petersburg work closely on federal regulatory matters, all USDA programmatic diseases, and every foreign animal disease investigation. If at any time you suspect any animal may be showing signs of a foreign animal disease, you should immediately contact your district veterinarian or veterinary medical officer. Their contact information can be located in Part 1 of the Iowa Veterinary Accreditation Handbook. However, if you cannot immediately reach them, then contact one of the animal health officials listed on the screen. There are 2 USDA accredited laboratories in the state of Iowa, both located in Ames. More detailed contact information for both can be found in Part 1 of the Iowa Veterinary Accreditation Handbook, starting on page 6. For specific information related to the testing offered, samples required, samples accepted, special handling, and mailing instructions, please contact the laboratory directly or consult with your district veterinarian or VMO. Please keep in mind that some samples collected for regulatory purposes need prior approval from an animal health official for testing to be completed at an authorized USDA laboratory. This concludes this video on how to gain and maintain Category 2 accreditation status in the state of Iowa. If you have any questions about the role and responsibilities of accredited veterinarians in Iowa, review the Iowa Veterinary Accreditation Handbook located on the Iowa Department of Agriculture Veterinary Resources webpage. If you have additional questions after reviewing the handbook, contact your district veterinarian or VMO. If you would like to begin the Category 2 accreditation process, please contact the Iowa NVAP coordinator, Lisa Rawling.